All right, so after 8 long months of pushing conspiracy theories one after another, well, liberals still refuse to accept a simple truth. There's not one shred of evidence, none, showing collusion between President Trump and the Russians. None, zero zip. Now, instead, the only thing that they can focus on is the FBI director saying that he has not seen evidence to support President Trump's tweets about wiretapping. Now, here's the same hypocritical media that used the words wiretapping in their own reporting. Remember this headline from the New York Times, January 20th? Quote, wiretap data used in inquiry of Trump aides. Oh, the New York Times? Are they going to apologize? Now, while the Democrats feign moral outrage, they are missing the real scandal here. Laws, in fact, were broken. Starting back in January, we have seen the repeated leaking of classified information meant to inflict damage on President Trump and his entire administration. Now, every one of these are criminal acts, felonies that are being committed. That does not seem to bother the Democrats in any way, shape, manner, or form. And the intelligence community, well, they don't seem to have an answer as to why it's happening and how they're going to stop it from continuing. Take a look at this back and forth between Congressman Trey Gowdy and the FBI Director Comey about these leaks. Watch this.
I thought it was against the law to disseminate classified information. Is it?
Oh, yes, sure. It's a serious crime.
Is there an exception in the law for current or former U.S. officials who request anonymity?
To release classified information?
Yes, sir.
No.
Comey admitted it is illegal to leak classified intelligence, so why hasn't he found the person or the people responsible? And why, after all these months, can't the FBI give us an answer? Now, Trey Gowdy also asked specifically if there was an investigation into General Flynn's case. That was a felony for sure. Watch this.
We're a month and a half and 2 months into something that you and I agree is incredibly important and also happens to be a felony. So I'm just simply asking you to assure the American people, you've already assured them you take it really seriously. Can you assure them that it is going to be investigated?
I can't, but I hope people watching know how seriously we take leaks of classified information, but I don't want to confirm it by saying that we're investigating it. And I'm sorry I have to draw that line. I just think that's the right way to be.
Oh, the right way to be? The FBI doesn't comment on potential ongoing investigations? Well, the problem is today, Comey, well, he commented on an ongoing investigation into potential Russian influence in the election. Now, the FBI director cannot have it both ways here. Now, right now, there are so many questions, no definitive answers, and it has allowed the alt-radical, destroy Trump media to run wild with paranoid conspiracies. The only crime we know for a fact that was committed, the only one, was the leaking of Lieutenant General Michael Flynn's name to the media. House Intel Committee Chair Devin Nunes, he said this exact thing earlier today. Take a look.
Do we believe there was any specific, well, do we know of anybody else other than Mike Flynn who was swept up in this?
Well, you're right to point that out, because the one crime we know that's been committed is that one. The leaking of someone's name through the FISA system. That is a crime that's been committed.
Felony up to 5 years in jail, maybe longer. Now, Senator Rand Paul's also speaking out about the law being broken in the case of Lieutenant General Flynn. Here's what he said.
I think that we know one thing for sure, that the Obama administration did spy on Flynn. Now, whether it was direct or indirect, somebody was reading and taking a transcript of his phone calls, and then they released it. It is very, very important that whoever released that go to jail, because you cannot have members of the intelligence community listening to the most private and highly classified information and then releasing that to the New York Times.
Now, aside from the political stunts and the feigned moral outrage and selective moral outrage from the Democrats at today's hearing, what else did we learn? Well, pretty much what Circa News reporters Sarah Carter and John Solomon have been telling us for the past 2 weeks right here on this show. That's right, that national security and intelligence agencies have, in fact, been investigating Russian attempts to influence the election. This is not new. We've been talking about it for 2 straight weeks. As Obama's own Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, said, Russian meddling didn't have an impact on vote tallies. Watch this.
First, we cannot say they did not change any vote tallies or anything of that sort.
Yeah, I'm just talking.
We have no way of gauging the impact that certainly the intelligence community can't gauge the impact it had on choices the electorate made.
No impact on vote tallies. Also today, the FBI director and Admiral Rogers testifying both said that Russia did not influence the vote tallies in key swing states: Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, North Carolina, Florida. This is them today.
Do you have any evidence that Russia's cyber actors changed vote tallies in the state of Michigan?
No, I do not, but I would highlight we're a foreign intelligence organization, not a domestic intelligence organization. So it would be fair to say we are probably not the best organization to provide a more complete answer.
How about the state of Pennsylvania?
No, sir.
The state of Wisconsin?
No, sir.
State of Florida?
No, sir.
The state of North Carolina?
No, sir.
The state of Ohio?
No, sir.
So you have no intelligence that suggests or evidence that suggests any votes were changed?
I have nothing generated by the National Security Agency, sir.
Director Comey, do you have any evidence at the FBI that any votes were changed in the states that I mentioned to Admiral Rogers?
No.
No, none. Comey also noted that, in fact, it's happened before, and Russia will try to interfere in the 2020 election. And by the way, if you read the tea leaves here, the investigation seems to now be focused on specific individuals, and let me emphasize, not President Trump. Now, of course, the Democrats, they didn't mention that today. Instead, they're pushing the false Russian narrative lie. Watch this.
Most important, we do not yet know whether the Russians had the help of U.S. citizens, including people associated with the Trump campaign. Many of the Trump's campaign personnel, including the president himself, have ties to Russia and Russian interests.
This committee, of course, is engaged in an investigation about links, as you said, between the Trump campaign and the Russians, should there be any possible collusion.
Can you say with any specificity what kind of coordination or contacts you're looking at in your investigation generally?
All right, so if influencing elections of foreign countries is so awful, so horrible, where were all of these Democrats back when President Obama was trying to influence the Israeli elections? Now, let me remind every one of you hypocrites in Congress and all you liberal snowflakes out there that, in fact, a congressional investigation found that back in 2014, an Israeli political group used 300,000+ taxpayer dollars from the Obama State Department in a grant to create a political apparatus to try and defeat our closest ally in the Middle East, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. What a bunch of hypocrites. Here with